Hi, Gabriel Josiah here. All right, we'll be looking at the case study exam requirements after we just looked at the analytical skills. We just introduced the analytical skills. So we're following it up with the case study exam requirements, which is Module 3 under Unit 2 on the same chapter, first chapter of the ICAN case study. So let me share my screen and let's look deeply into this module. Okay, I believe you can see my screen right now, and I'll just go ahead and enjoy the course. Okay, so you have specific requirements for each of the exam as set out in the form or in the exhibit. So there are two requirements principally where you have to draft a report from the emails you are given from the partner of the firm where you work or the organization where you work. So the report comprises of your responses in two detailed requirements, and you're supposed to use the exhibits, and they could be numbered up to 14, 15 exhibits on average, and you're supposed to provide appendices to those reports. The appendices are your calculations and some models and extracts you have, as they have to do with numerical data. And you state clearly also your assumptions, which should be attached to your report. It's very important. The report should also balance the work based on the two requirements and the time allocated for the two requirements. So that has to do with your planning and your technique, which is harnessed through practice and practice and practice. This cannot be overemphasized. Okay, so at the exam, you have 4 hours to write this paper, as against the traditional 3 hours for other papers. Now, the time allocated is just a suggestion, so you could do what works for you. This is not a hard and fast rule. You could reduce the hours based on how fast you read. Everyone has individual differences or speed of assimilation and skimming through documents. But this is the general rule the Institute of Chartered Accountants and the examiner prefers or suggests to us. Different students work in different ways, so the time you advocate to yourself at the exam, what works for you, use the method comfortably. The point is the requirements carry the same weight. That's the point here. So in this above example you've seen on the screen, you'll see that when you get your question paper, you have approximately 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. So the question paper entails your pre-seen and the unseen. Normally the pre-seen comes 2 weeks before the exam, and the unseen comes on the actual day of the exam. So the pre-seen and the unseen are matched together. The requirement also comes on the day of the exam. So you're to skim through the reading of that a bit lengthy document for at least 1 hour. Use 1 hour maximum, not at least, sorry, maximum 1 hour. Less than 1 hour, if you're fast in reading, will help channel the other minutes to the areas of writing the report, which is very important. So reading and planning, especially for requirement 1, should take at least 15 minutes. Requirement 2, 15 minutes. You need to read and understand and let the question or the requirement resonate with you, because the examiner has complained severally that students don't address his requirement. And that's because maybe they don't understand it, or it's beyond them. They decided to do what is in their mind. So please read the requirement for 15 minutes. Take note of the combos, the additions, It may not be a one bullet question, it may be 2, 3 bullet question. Please take note of it and stay with his question. Address his question squarely, strictly. Very, very important. The 30 minutes is for the order aspect of the paper. Read through them and how they impact the requirements. Then you begin your calculation for requirement 1 and 2. Generally, he comes at the requirement 1 as financial statement analysis and requirement 2 financial data analysis. And sometimes he twists it. Can come requirement 1 as financial data or the use of models or IFRSs, and go to requirement 2 and ask you to do financial statement analysis with additional questions he attached to it. So just organize your thoughts and put them together. Then the calculation should not take you more than 30 minutes each, because they have less mark. That's what you use to interpret your report. So the calculations will not earn you much marks. It's your report that matters. So this exam is more of a writing exam. It's not a calculation exam. It's a report you are profiling, and your audience or your client or employer wants to read and hear what you are advising him on. So it's not a calculating thing. It's very important you take note of that. The drafting your report has 2 hours. That is 50% of the 4 hours time allocated for the exam. So you can see how very essential report writing is. So requirement 1 should last you 1 hour to write, and requirement 2 1 hour to write. So sticking to this plan will really help you get through the technique of passing the course. So on a final note, it's very important to understand that good preparation will mean you're able to identify the relevant aspects of the scenario and financial issues quickly in the exam based on this time. And you'll also be able to decide which tools can be appropriately utilized in answering the requirements. So, good preparation in the sense that you've practiced and practiced and practiced past questions. You've understood the examiner's technique and his trajectory, what he expects. You've read several examiner's reports that shows the pitfalls and what other candidates did and they passed and what they didn't do and they failed. So that's what enhances your technique and passing the course. So in drafting the report and the examination, you should be able to apply analytical techniques with confidence to the requirements presented to you. So please practice. Practice before the day of the exam. It's not possible to write this exam and pass it without practicing with past questions. That cannot be overemphasized. So good preparation, in my opinion, is good practice, which is very, very important. So take note of that, and that's it about the case study examination requirements. All right. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next class. Bye for now.